Hey guys, so two things this morning. I want to make sure that you know about my live coffee chat with Judge Rosemary Aquilina that is happening in like an hour. And if you haven't registered for that yet, it's free, but you have to register to be able to access it. And the live part will be available to the first 100 people who show up, and then everyone who registers will be able to catch the replay. But yeah, so definitely check that out. I will drop the link for that in the, I can't do it while I'm right here on my phone, but I will drop the link for that in the description. But also, I want to tell you about a brand new book that has just come out that I had the privilege of reading the manuscript of, and it is this one. Great. I love when Facebook just flips the video. It's called The Sexually Healthy Man by Andrew J. Bauman. So Andrew is someone that I've kind of become friends with as we both work in similar areas. Andrew works with men who have been addicted to sex and porn, and he is a therapist and a counselor, and he is one of the therapists and counselors who deals with sexual addiction, who believes and teaches that sex addiction, porn consumption is abuse and is adultery. So he and I see eye to eye on that. I had the chance to read and endorse his brand new book, The Sexually Healthy Man, and I wanted to tell you about it in case you've been looking for an alternative to books like Every Man's Battle, because if you've seen my review on that one, you know how I feel about that book and other ones like it. Now, The Sexually Healthy Man is not a how-to manual for overcoming sexual addiction. It is not filled with checklists of this is what you do, you bounce your eyes, you refuse to stay alone with women, you refuse to do this, you refuse to do that. It's not that kind of book. It's more of a strike to the heart of the matter and understand the story driving the addiction, driving the abuse. And I have to be really careful how I say this because I don't want to misrepresent the value of the book, and I don't want to unknowingly or inadvertently trigger those of you who are in my audience who are listening. It is not, I don't mean that it's all about just fluff, getting to the story of why you're an abusive porn addict. I'm not saying that to minimize or to excuse the abuse and the adultery that is involved in sexual and pornography addiction. What I am saying is that it is very unusual to find an author who has experienced addiction and recovery, who has dedicated their lives to helping others experience recovery, and who does it in a way that seeks to embody kindness without making excuses or wiggle room for continuing in addiction. That it is rare to find someone who writes to the heart of what drives addiction and compulsive behavior instead of just giving a checklist of things for behavior modification. And it is rare to find material that really focuses on honoring women instead of devouring beauty as a consumer for oneself, in the selflessness of seeking to serve and to honor others, from men to women, on the topic of sexual addiction. And The Sexually Healthy Man really nails that. I'll be honest, and I told Andrew, if I do a video review, I'm going to be completely honest. There were a couple of things I was a little bit like, ooh, I don't know if I would have put it quite that way. But they're not the foundational premise. They were like trimmings, not the foundational premise of the book. So yeah, there was a couple of things where I was kind of like, I might have worded that different. And there's one point where there's a letter from a pornography addict where he says that he had been, he says, porn was a struggle in the beginning of our marriage. And then he says, I have never cheated on my wife. And I talked with Andrew about that because it doesn't later restate, although it does through the book, but it doesn't later immediately restate that porn use is cheating itself, that it is what it is. And Andrew actually, he and I agree that using porn is cheating. It's just not specifically specified immediately after that quoted letter in the book. So I wanted to throw that out there. If you read it and that bugs you, kind of like it bugged me. So what I did is I said, hey, Andrew, what did you mean by this? And why doesn't it have another sentence under there saying, hey, this is actually cheating in the first place. I digress, but I wanted to point that out because I thought Andrew had a really humble response as the author. He was like, hey, I should have put that sentence in. That's cool. And I liked seeing that response. Anyway, I wanted to recommend it to you. I wanted to throw it out there. I will add a link to this in the description of this book review. If you enjoyed this, please share it. I will also cross-post it over to YouTube. And if you are one of the people who has signed up for coffee with me and Judge Rosemary Aquilina from Aquilina, I'm going to have to ask her how to say her name, from the Larry Nassar trial with the Michigan State Olympic athletes and the abuse there, I will see you. If you're planning to join us for that, I'll see you at 1 o'clock Eastern, which is going to be very shortly. And in the meantime, I hope you have a wonderful weekend and a really great week.